then the situation becomes a lot easier. It's like,
In case they think of it as an excuse,
which is okay. I mean, does it really matter whether you're a good manager or bad manager because you sweat a lot? And particularly if you have a medical condition. I mean, of all the possible things that they want to know about you, I think this will actually help you. Because see, I'll tell you what, this is something that, I was supposed to come up with later, but I'll just mention this. What is a sign of maturity? Maturity is when someone is comfortable in his skin. When someone does not have to play roles to, convey things. Do you ever see a 30-year-old person, trying to act in a certain way or trying to give a certain response, right? So that is maturity, right? When you're comfortable in your skin and you don't mind admitting or accepting or acknowledging a certain problem, all right? Right. So, to coming to the rest of the body language part, the general, as I said, your sitting arrangement or your general body's position and all, it should not be rigid, it should be comfortable, but yeah, preferably shoulders back. This is something I also mention other than body language experts and all, because drooping shoulders normally give an impression of lack of confidence, servility, even though you are actually very confident about the whole thing. But drooping shoulders, something like this, and this is something which may be a habit to you, but it conveys an impression. And you just need to be a little bit aware of this, because see how it goes is, just think of a situation where you came across a stranger, a person you met for the first time, maybe in a fest, maybe in a college, maybe some friend of friend, maybe on Facebook, right? Not on Facebook, we're talking about actual physical meeting. So you came across someone for the first time. Before you actually exchange words with that person, if you think about this, go into flashback and think of a situation like this, you will realize that even before the hellos have been exchanged, you already have an impression about that person. In certain extreme cases, we actually end up hating a person for some unknown reason. We just don't like the way he looks, he struts, he talks, the way he is. We just don't like it. And there are cases before you actually exchange words with a person, and we are not talking about a certain kind of emotion exchange here, but you just feel a certain likeness for a person, irrespective of the gender. You feel more comfortable in their company, whatever be the reason, right? Now, this is what happens. This is what we say body language. Unconsciously, subconsciously, everything that we do leaves an impression on the other person. Now, we can't be too conscious of it and make our every movement regulated and all. That would make life very tough for us. What we can do is that become aware of some messages which go a little more strongly, a little more sharply than the rest. For example, as you said, not maintaining eye contact. See, what is the whole idea of maintaining eye contact? You lose your audience. They don't pay interest to you if you don't maintain eye contact. It's as simple as that. It's one easy way of ensuring that your audience is interested in what you are saying. Right? And it's very difficult in group discussions and all, which are not very popular nowadays in IM assessment process. But you just think of it. If you're talking in a group and you look at a person straight and start talking to that person, it's very difficult for him to ignore you now. Because all your conversation in a very strong voice and very emphatically is addressed towards him. It's difficult for him to get rid of you. And this is what helps in an interview also. When you are maintaining eye contact, your words are registered. It leaves an impression on him. So that is eye contact. Similarly, few things, drooping shoulders or a rigid posture and all, they can convey impression. Or say, some people have these tics, these habits, rubbing their hands, or playing with their hairs or playing with their earlobes. People have these tics and all. So avoidable, but it's if you can't help it, it comes out. Don't worry too much about it, right? One critical aspect of body language which I always advise is hand movement. Because see, hand movement in a way provides that punctuation mark to your speech. You need punctuation marks, full stop and all. Otherwise, very difficult to read and all. So when your hand goes like this, the other person, even if he was not paying attention, he realized what you're going to say next or what you've just said is perhaps very emphatic, very important, right? Or your hand goes this, he understands that you're elaborating on something. Alright, so a little bit of hand movement, that body language helps. Otherwise, the overall impression is very dull. So that hand movement to some extent is quite important. Yes, any other questions as far as body language is concerned? How you're sitting and all?
we are supposed to maintain a smile throughout the interview.
Yeah, I won't suggest that. It's very difficult to do that. Tell me something, is it possible for you to do that in real life?
It's not, but my question is, when they ask me a question and it suddenly takes me by surprise, and I just can't recall the answer, or rather I don't know, and I smile. Do I look like an idiot then?
Anyone would do. See, if you ask a question to someone and you are actually interested in answer, and all you get is a smile, however nice, polite, beautiful, gentle, cute, actually you don't feel good about it, no? Because you're looking for an answer. You're not looking for just for a smile. So in a conversation, again I'm saying it's an important conversation. They're looking for a student in their institute. Out of thousands of students, they want to select one. It's not a casual conversation. There's a story behind this whole event. So they are looking for answers. So even if you don't smile once throughout the interview, it will do. What I suggest is a pleasant expression. That will do. It does not necessarily mean you have to smile. Lack of scowl will do. You don't scowl, you don't grimace too much, your eyebrows are not knotted together. Some people have these kind of issues which they can work upon. So if you reduce that and generally convey a pleasant impression, that will do. We don't have to overdo the whole smiling thing. Okay. I think when we are seated, again a couple of things, shaking of legs is one thing that people, find a little distracting, particularly interviewers. Some people shake their legs as they're born in trains or something. Again, hand movement, I would like to emphasize that yes, I am suggesting that they have to be emphatic, but don't go the gesticulation part. Some people get overboard with that. Their hand movement knows no limits. It has to be very restricted, occasional, and just to emphasize, just to put a little more energy in the interview. That is it. A very limited usage of hand. And finger pointing is generally considered, I don't know if this is that serious or not, but conventionally this has always been discussed, so I'm sharing it with you. People avoid pointing fingers, you always go with the palm. Okay. Fiddling with your tie or folder is something you should ideally avoid. I think a couple of interviews, practice interviews and all, maybe you can take care of it. Any other questions in terms of body language specifically that we have? No? Alright, okay. Then we'll wrap up the body language part.